Yep, folks, do not get mad at me, right? It's as simple as it comes, clear as it comes. We are hopping into the philosophy of demons, right? Let me just find out something real quick. Let me see if my AI is tapped in, right? Let me see what you thinking.
Hey there, Sizway.
Yeah, co-pilot. What is the philosophy of demons according to you?
In many mythologies, the philosophy of demons is that they serve as symbols of moral conflict and cosmic balance. They are often seen as tempters or agents of chaos, challenging divine order and human morality.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. Let's hop in.
So when she said she wanna die and he see she ain't bluffing, so he held her to the skies, cried sour momentum, passive with goodbyes. I'd rather you tell him, but now the truth is I've digressed from all the feelings, so it's forever though. Like my mama's son was missing, ain't no telling, do they love or did they kill him? So beware the fun cutting, it's volumes of demise.
Right. Zoom in right quick for the part 2. Yep. Still breaking down the philosophy of demons. Yeah. Self-explanatory title, man. Let's go.
And therefore sees the command as flawed. His logic is sound, but obedience is demanded. And when he refuses, he is cursed. But even then, he rejects the demand for submission. His rebellion is a rejection of hierarchy, and what follows is even more disturbing.
What's that?
The Quran records that Iblis becomes the tempter of mankind only after God grants him the time and the role to do so. His fall is permitted, his function assigned. He's free, but only to play the part that has been written for him. Then there is Samael, the angel of death in Jewish mysticism, often conflated with Satan or with demonic forces. Samael operates within the divine system. He tests,
Gosh, Samael. That's clearly Samuel. Damn.
tempts, and accuses. The figure complicates the moral binary entirely. He is fulfilling a role within God's structure. He is both loyal and feared, necessary and condemned. At the core of all these figures lies the same tension: free will. In theological systems that prize obedience as the highest value, the very capacity to choose becomes dangerous. Demons are those who choose fully, consciously, and without regret. Their sin is clarity. They see the rules and say no, and for that, they are cursed. Yet the paradox remains. These rebels are punished for doing what humans are told makes them moral beings, choosing. The very foundation of moral philosophy, autonomy, responsibility, self-awareness, becomes criminal when applied to the wrong entity.
Yeah.
Lucifer's rebellion mirrors human ambition. Iblis's defiance mirrors human reasoning. Samael's accusations mirror human judgment. In punishing these figures, we punish something uncomfortably familiar. Literature has often seized on this ambiguity.
But also, let's keep in mind the common denominator, punishment. You know what I'm saying? These entities have to be punished, right? Punishment is the constant here.
In Paradise Lost, Milton presents Satan as a tragic intellect who famously declares, "Better to reign in hell than to serve in heaven." It's a line soaked in defiance, but also in integrity. He chooses the agony of sovereignty over the bliss of servitude. His fall is framed as a moral decision, one made with full awareness of its cost. In Goethe's Faust, Mephistopheles tempts with knowledge. He draws Faust into a wager for his intellect. And in the book of Job, the Satan figure walks freely into the courts of heaven, debating with God, and is given permission to ruin a man's life because he is part of the test. What is rebellion in this context? Is it wickedness, or is it lucidity?
Good question.
Is it the failure to obey, or the refusal to participate in a hierarchy that demands silence?
Great question.
If rebellion is punished, then obedience is virtue. But obedience without question is submission, self-erasure. The rebel becomes evil only when we define good as compliance. Demons, then, are expressions of discontent with an order that punishes insight and reveres hierarchy. Their fall is a philosophical statement, a declaration that autonomy, even when it leads to damnation, is worth the cost. The figure of the demon is not always a destroyer. The demon teaches, it whispers revelation, inverts the sacred to illuminate. This is the demon as a guide into forbidden knowledge, dangerous truths, and consequences of asking questions we were told never to ask.
But isn't it crazy that that's the kind of, those are the kind of characteristics that are, incentivized in today's world. You know what I mean? The you that is a rebel, the you that will ask the questions that everyone else, aka the NPCs, are afraid of asking. You know what I mean? Human beings are now, you know what I'm saying, going up to Mars and shit like this. You feel me? Because of characters like Elon Musk, bro. So you telling me Elon Musk had the kind of demon that would now later be revered, right? And be associated with most powerful, like more powerful people and all that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? And look at how power is like, there's good and bad power, but like a whole lot of ambition, let me put it that way. Ambition, it's lauded, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like it's awarded. Let me put it that way. You know what I'm saying? Oh my god, there we go again. Okay. Moving on.
In the Book of Enoch, Azazel is one of the fallen watchers who descends to earth and corrupts humanity. But corruption here is education. Azazel teaches men to forge weapons and women to adorn themselves with cosmetics and jewelry. He introduces metallurgy,
Doesn't that sound like the modern world? Damn.
ornamentation, warfare, and seduction, knowledge that shifts power. These teachings fracture the innocence of the world and invite divine punishment, but they also mark a turning point. Humanity begins to shape its own fate. Azazel is punished, but his knowledge remains. The question becomes, was the sin in the act or in the transmission? Later demonologies carry this theme even further. Paimon, a prominent figure in grimoires such as the Lesser Key of Solomon, is a king commanding legions, but his power lies in instruction. He teaches all arts, sciences, and philosophy. He reveals the nature of the mind and the structure of the cosmos. To summon Paimon is to risk madness, but also gain understanding. In this framework, the demon becomes a tutor, feared for truth, the kind of truth that cracks the foundation of obedience. The Templars were accused of worshipping Baphomet, a mysterious figure whose name remains debated, but whose image endures. Half human, half goat, male and female.
Goated? Ain't that half of your world today? Talking about they be goats and they goated and shit like that. And I feel like, man, if we would double down into just like drill music and drill culture, those people pride themselves in being evil. I feel like it's not, you know what I mean? The fear of it has become so integrated, but in such a destructive way, dog, that people just like, they're loyal to being evil, man. That's crazy. That's sad.
Light and dark, seated in balance. In later occult philosophy, especially through the writings of Eliphas Levi and later Thelema, Baphomet becomes a symbol of synthesis, the shadow reconciled with the self, knowledge through inversion, wisdom that can't be gained by walking the path of light alone. Baphomet teaches that understanding requires confronting contradiction, that holiness and profanity are often reflections of the same impulse. This theme is far older than any demonology. Prometheus steals fire from the gods and gives it to mankind, symbolic light, intellect's power. For this he's punished, chained and tortured. The serpent in Eden offers fruit from the tree of knowledge, and in doing so opens human eyes to good and evil. Gnostics read this story as liberation. The serpent becomes the secret redeemer, freeing humanity from ignorance imposed by a jealous creator. In each case, transgression is awakening.
Disconnected. Reconnected. Are we back on? Somebody tell me we're back on. Because I'm not gonna lie, today I cannot even check on my phone, bro. I don't know why my phone is not even giving me the notification that I'm live. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, I still cannot see it, bro. So I'm gonna have to try and search for it, right? I'm gonna have to search for it. Oh shit, no. And I'm actually looking for this thing in the wrong freaking place. Are we reconnected or what? 1 2 1 2 mic check. Oh shit, no. Oh yeah, we good. Okay, yeah, we good.
So we arrive at the philosophical wound.
Where's that?
Is there such a thing as evil knowledge, or only forbidden knowledge? The demon, in this role, becomes a mirror for our most uncomfortable desire, understanding. Even when that understanding costs us innocence, certainty, or peace. To learn is to risk.
AKA becoming an adult, bro. Feel like there's an alignment there.
To ask is to transgress. The demon offers, and what it offers is dangerous, only because it can't be unlearned. So perhaps the line between angel and demon is drawn by permission, by whether we are allowed to know, and the moment we seek knowledge on our own terms, that is when the teacher arrives. The demon, sometimes, it lives within. As theology gave way to psychology, the figure of the demon began to evolve. It was no longer just a metaphysical adversary or a...
Oh my god. We back on? Back on? Back on? Well.
fallen being, but a mirror of the mind's darker corners. Fear, guilt, temptation, these became internal battlegrounds, and the demon, once banished to the edge of the cosmos, was reimagined as the shadow cast by the self. Jung captured this in his concept of the shadow, the part of the psyche that houses the traits we suppress: rage, envy, lust, arrogance, native impulses to preserve a sense of order, purity, or control. We exile them into metaphors, give them names, faces, and horns.
Yeah.
The demon becomes a scapegoat for what we will
humanize the demon.
Not claim, and yet, by banishing these parts of ourselves, we feed them. They grow in the dark, unspoken but active, shaping actions and reactions in ways we refuse to admit. This is why demons linger in the language of addiction, mental illness, and trauma. People speak of being possessed by urges they can't control.
Yep.
They describe thoughts that invade like curses, habits that return like spirits. When someone spirals into rage, shame, or obsession, the language becomes theological again.
Or public indecency.
Something has taken over. What if that something, though, was always part of us, denied, repressed, and finally unleashed? Exorcism stories can be read as symbolic encounters with buried pain. The thrashing body, the distorted voice, the moment of catharsis all echo psychological processes of trauma being unearthed.
Unearthed?
What the church drives out with Latin, the analyst unpacks with conversation. Both seek to reclaim the self from something it can no longer contain, but one treats it as an invader, the other sees it as a wound. This reimagining changes everything. Demons become symptoms to be heard. To name them is to give them form, to make the unconscious visible, and in doing so, to begin healing. The demon becomes a signal. We all carry versions of this figure, a voice that whispers harm, a hunger that can't be...
Well, then in that aspect, does it mean that if you know, does healing mean you just got the demon under control? Right? Does it mean you've just like harnessed it into like you've held it into submission, right? So that it doesn't run amok and go crazy and override your boundaries. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say is, are we trying to say that for as long as you can, you know, drink and watch your drinking consumption before you really literally act a fool, right? And having that awareness of constantly doing that, putting your drinking under control, you know, drinking responsibly, come on, right? Then you've put your demon under control, right? Does that mean you've healed it? Right? That's not a good question. Wait, that's not a good question. My fault.
Sated, a cycle we know will hurt us, yet we repeat anyway. To deny it is to remain fractured. To confront it is to begin the work of integration. What we once called demonic might simply be what we've left unloved. Sometimes it is summoned by the crowd, the pulpit, or the courtroom. In every age, demons have served as...
Okay, actually, let me take all that back. I don't even think that drinking is the demon. The demon is the, you know, it's the reason for you drinking or being hooked on whatever substance it is, right? But then now look at, you know, the measures that exist in the world, the tools for you to escape, right? Substances that are legal, substances that, you know, like alcohol, they're taxed because they're legal, because we can, you know what I'm saying? They numb those demons. So you know what I'm saying? These demons will continue being unloved, or these aspects of us that are unloved that go on to be demons. It's gonna continue being that way, because you know what I'm saying? You're in the world, you still have tools that you can use to numb out what's really going on.
More than metaphysical threats, they have been instruments of social control. Their faces are shaped by fear, their targets chosen by power. They appear when authority needs justification, when terror needs a name.
Yeah.
The witch trials of early modern Europe were about enforcement. Entire systems emerged to detect, extract, and punish signs of invisible corruption. A woman with too much knowledge, a neighbor with a grudge, a healer without sanction. Once accused of communion with the demonic, the outcome was exorcism by fire.
Damn.
And in this theater of fear, blasphemy became indistinguishable from independence. This structure evolved. In the late 20th century, the satanic panic erupted across the United States and beyond. Accusations of hidden cults, demonic rituals in daycares, backwards
And dark conspiracy theories, remember?
messages in music, none of it required evidence. The mere suggestion of demonic influence was enough to fracture families, imprison the innocent, and shape public morality. It was a panic that fed on its own echoes, amplified by media, churches, and courts.
Damn.
It was youth culture being hunted, outsider art, deviant expression. The demon, once again, became a mask worn by those society feared but didn't understand. The philosopher Michel Foucault argued that every society constructs its monsters to police the boundaries of normal. Madness, crime, sin, these are defined and, once defined, regulated. The demon here is a label designed to exile, to silence, to correct, and those who wield that label are rarely held to account. There is also a collective psychology at work. Societies project their shadow just as individuals do. In times of upheaval or change, fear coalesces around the unexplainable. Instead of asking difficult questions about power, inequality, or trauma, it is far easier to say, there is evil among us. The cost of that belief is always borne by the marginal, the strange, the non-compliant, and once accused, you confess or you perish. This is why the demon, as a social construct, is so potent. It protects the dominant narrative, it keeps the deviant visible, marked, contained. But more than that, it reassures. It tells the mob that they are righteous. It tells the fearful that evil is out there, in the music,
So it's always gonna be necessary. Is that what you're telling me? Pantheon mythology, bro?
in the games, in the neighbor they never quite trusted.
Yeah.
The demon is needed to maintain the illusion that those in power are protecting something sacred.
Bro?
So, we return to the paradox. After Augustine and Aquinas cemented the demon's theological necessity, after the Enlightenment stripped away the literal faith, and after psychology and sociology proved the whole spectacle was a projection, why are they still here? Philosophical atheism did its best to banish them. Spinoza, denying free will, argued that the devil was merely a conceptual category for things we don't understand, ignorance disguised as malice. Later, Friedrich Nietzsche,
Things we don't understand, right? So I feel like, well, you know, he summed it up in part one. He summed it up properly when you were like, yo, it is what's feared the most. Because even the fear of the unknown, you know what I'm saying? Even that could just like, to some other people, that could be just like demon, you know, something that could be summed up as a demon, characterized as a demon, something that's unwanted, something that produces uncomfortable, you know, states of mind. And so therefore, the mind will naturally try to push that away, you know, out of, you know, trying to survive and shit like that. Trying to stay mentally sane, right? So it's you know, the fear of the unknown producing these kind of things. Understand what I'm saying?
rejected the entire moral framework, seeing evil as a weakness, the resentful denial of the pure, chaotic will to power. Both great rationalists rejected the literal entity, yet both wrestled with the forces the demon was created to name: chaos, suffering, and the irrational impulse. Disbelief.
And that's always gonna be around, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because now we do have to constantly remind ourselves that, yo, the opposite exists because of the fact that the evil, you know, the demon exists. So the angel is there because the demon exists. Vice versa. You know what I mean? Because there has to be that comparison of what the angel is not, which is a demon. You know what I mean? And so since angelic energy will always... Oh, fuck. Are we back connected? I was saying, since angelic energy, or people that will always attach themselves to just the moral high ground. You know what I'm saying? Being righteous and things like this. You know, it's inevitable that the people that are not that would be like demons, or at least, you know, inhibit the energy of demons.
Belief cannot kill them because they are not beings. They are an essential category. Modern thinkers like Jung and Joseph Campbell recognize that the demon persists because it functions as a powerful archetype, a pattern deep within the human psyche. It is the necessary villain in every story.
An innate archetype.
The embodiment of the shadow that must be confronted. We see this archetype reconstructed everywhere today, often in secular clothing. Horror films use them as metaphors for modern secular anxieties, the breakdown of the family, political conspiracy, viral contagion, and the loss of self-control.
Yeah.
The creature in the dark is the manifestation of our fear of self-sabotage, surveillance, and helplessness. The conclusion is chillingly simple.
What is it?
The demon survives reason because it names something necessary, a source for the chaos we can't accept as random, or the malice we can't accept as purely our own. They exist as a perpetual placeholder for the questions we cannot escape. The demon is the shifting shadow our own. They exist as a perpetual placeholder for the questions we cannot escape. The demon is the shifting shadow cast by the line between obedience and autonomy. We began by asking why the idea persists. The answer is simple. We need something to name what we refuse to claim. The demon is the question mark hanging over the worst things we are willing to do to ourselves. Need something to name what we refuse to claim. The demon is the question mark hanging over the worst things we are willing to do to ourselves. To confront the demon is to accept the cost of being free.
Hey man, Pantheon mythology, right? Pantheon mythology, the philosophy of demons. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Alright. Stay tuned for the cosplay partake.